Welcome back everyone. Today by popular demand I have finished the update for the sorc, the easy mode sorc from the previous patch, and it's been updated for Homestead. I will put the link to the original video in the description so you can go and check that out. So all the major details for the build are actually in there, but I will go over this as quickly as possible to make sure that people understand what has changed and also what you can do to alter the build to your liking if you don't have the gear that we're currently using with it. Now, a couple of things to note. The Homestead patch did increase lightning damage to quite a lot, if you're using a lightning staff, that is. The build itself doesn't really change. A couple of abilities move places, there's some more CPs, and of course there is alternate gear like I've already said. There is one bug with the maelstrom staff at the moment: lightning, frost and fire. All of them, if you're in a group, whoever puts down a wall of elements, no matter what element it is, that person is the only one who will benefit from the maelstrom enchant. That is currently a bug. So then when somebody else puts their wall of elements down first, they'll get the bonus instead and everybody else will not. However, ZeniMax have got a huge inbox full of bug reports about it. Hopefully they fix it soon, and then everybody's damage will go up no matter what build they're using. So that's coming. Now, about this one. Still using the same gear: 5 ether, 5 twiceborn, and 1 Magicka for the extra spell damage. Now, the ether is very important because of multiple reasons. First of all, you need to make sure that if you're using twiceborn star, you make sure you benefit from the most possible from the Munda stones. Now, obviously you want to go divines on everything for the thief and shadow, but if you want to get the most out of that crit, the crit chance that is, versus the thief perhaps with something else instead of twiceborn, you want to make sure that the set you're using has plenty of crit on it, at least one bonus to crit. Now, I know you're all screaming minor vulnerability, but that means you didn't read what the 5th piece does for ether. Now, minor vulnerability, yes, it does put it on the target for 10 seconds. Yes, I'm very aware, and so are most people, that lightning now has a status effect chance to it, yeah, I said chance, to create minor vulnerability to all the targets inside of it. That is correct. However, ignore that trait. That's not what we're looking at. We don't care about minor vulnerability on ether. What we care about is the other 2 bonuses that the 5 piece gets. There are 3 bonuses there. One is the extra crit, which we need, and the other one is the increased additional damage to heavy attacks. Now, last patch, yes, this was going off every tick, but they fixed it, so now it's just at the end, but it's still very important. So those 2 bonuses combined is why we use it, not the minor vulnerability. Ignore that. It's just there for extra, for 100% uptime. Now, the maelstrom staff on the back bar, yes, I've still got a crap trait on the staff. I've been really unlucky with it, but the trait on the back bar doesn't really matter too much, but if you can get a charged, that would be awesome. If not, get a sharpened or precise or something to that effect. You will do really well. Even a decisive is fine because you'll gain more ultimate when you're on the back bar. Now, this also affects your heavy attacks. So ether does, and so does your maelstrom, and yes, they stack. So that's the reason for the 5 piece bonus. Anyone inside this that receives a heavy attack gets bonus from your ether and from your maelstrom weapon, because the proc comes from this bar and it carries over. So that's very important. Why do we want our heavy attack to be stronger? Because of the passive here. It might help if I put some stuff on first. Here it is. Your shock damage heavy attacks damage nearby enemies for 146% of the damage done. Yes, that means that anybody inside here can now get minor vulnerability if they're lucky. They also take AoE damage from the wall of elements, and also anyone inside of here takes extra damage from this. Your target takes damage, but the surrounding targets take extra damage. Even more. A lot more. So the more you bunch things up, the quicker you will kill them. Now, of course, crit chance and off balance and all that kind of stuff will come into play, but that's the whole point of the build. Now, also another important part to pay attention to since the Homestead patch is this. While holding a lightning staff, your damage done with area of effect abilities is also increased by a further 8%. You're already getting 8% from minor vulnerability. You're already getting 146% from your heavy attacks to close by enemies. Now this increases all of your AoE damage. Now, there's a trick to that, but I'll get to it. This, and your heavy attacks, the splash from your heavy attacks, all work with that passive. So you have a shit ton of AoE damage. Oh yeah, and the Destro ulti too, that counts also. So you have a lot of AoE damage. That's the whole point of the setup. Now, alongside that passive, you do need to pay attention to this, which is very important. It gains the bonus, you gain the bonus based on your staff type while you have a destruction staff ability slotted. So you must have one Destro ability on this bar. We're using the ulti, the Thunderous Rage. Now, you can use Ice Comet for the 2% extra max magic and recovery. 1, you're not struggling with recovery. 2, you'll only gain 600 Magicka. Beast Trap is much stronger to have on the bar for the crit bonus if you can reach. If you can't get anywhere near the target, then there's no point in having it on there. Switch it out for perhaps Crush and Chop or Pulsar or something like that. It's entirely up to you. And then change this to Ice Comet. But if not, and you are in a fight where you're going to be up close sometimes, or there's going to be ads close sometimes, by all means keep this on, and there's your Destro skill, and that will be absolutely fine. Where am I? Character stats are no different, although I think my found armor ran out. I did. They look worse than they are. The damage is very high. A single target does decent damage. I'm not going to say it's the best single target damage in the world, but it is good. But AoE damage, including single target if they're in this, because that's still area of effect damage they're inside of. The AoE damage is you can't match it, unfortunately. It's fucking huge. There is a problem with the target skeletons at the moment, so use it for practice, but don't use it as a guide for damage as such, because you can't knock the things off balance properly in comparison to how you actually do in the field, if you like. Like in a dungeon or a trial, if you and multiple others are using this, which we do, we use 4 of them in our trials actually, off balance is happening all the time. It's crazy. But on the skeleton, it doesn't always proc it, and when it does proc it, it only has it for like a split second, so you don't even see the increase to damage. They're a bit broken. But when we did get it running properly, we were forcing off balance on some targets. We had 3 skeletons together. Single target was hitting 39 to 41k with proper off balance procs, and the AoE was hitting anywhere between 47 and 51. So it's very high. But again, variables need to be considered, crits, off balance, all that kind of stuff. You get a good run, you're going to do a lot of damage. Now, skeletons, you can do this over and over and over, and the bloody thing won't go off balance. But if you hit a mob with it, one's off balance straight away, which means you get 4 seconds worth of extra damage in area of effect from hitting him. So if you aim at him or the other targets, whichever, your damage is going to spread and do more. Again, like I said, the heavy attack from the lightning stuff spreads. Now the way to spot that damage amongst all the numbers is to look for the large white numbers, because the area of effect damage from the staff is increased by whatever damage you do on the single target, but it doesn't show up as a crit, it just shows you flat damage. So if we just Wall of Elements here, and heavy attack, look for the big ones, 13s, 15s, it's huge. And just get him down quickly. See 8 crit there on the middle, we'll do about a 12 to 15 in area of effect. Beast Trap on, you'll hit even higher with a bloody crit. Now, average decent crits if you Beast Trap and all the rest of it is around 10k-ish, which is about 18 in AoE. If you're fully trial buffed, you can hit 15s to 18s, even closer to 20 on single target every half second, which you can do the maths for, especially once off balance kicked in, and then all the area of effect enemies get hit even harder. The highest I have ever seen wasn't actually me, it was Feral69, and he hit the twins. He was on the yellow side in VMOL, and he hit the middle target and he got a really high number, and the AoE on all 4 of the ads was between 50 and 55k a piece, not including these 2 dots. It's very strong. Now, The main purpose for this build, not only is it for area of effect damage, keep turning that off, it's also for ease of use. This heals you and buffs your weapon damage. This shields you and stops you dying. This boosts your damage, beast trap. This does area of effect damage, and this is easy, off balance and dead. Yeah, I know they're little scamps, but it works just the same in the trial as well. Or maelstrom. In maelstrom actually it's really easy. You just keep around your dots, keep inside of them, and they'll all hug up and they will die. And if it's a single target, 9 times out of 10 you can just heavy attack and execute. Now, never heavy attack without Wall of Elements being on the target. Make sure he's always inside of it. Off balance is happening a lot. And this is solo. When there's more of you, it happens a lot more. In fact, you can keep almost 90 to 100% uptime on off balance. Just keep out of his way. I know City of Ash 1 is easy for some people, but just to confirm, it is on veteran. You can solo this, you can solo any dungeon within reason. Even if you have to tank a boss, you can block, and yeah, it might go through your health normally, but cover your health with a shield. You can block pretty much most heavy attacks, except for Celine, she'll hand your ass to you. Who's hitting me? Oh, he is. Remember, never hit anything without Wall of Elements down. See, that missed, 6k, that's not a Wall of Elements hit. See, it's gone off to the side. Now we put it under him. It's not 6 anymore, it's 8. Which goes higher with a beast trap and buff. 9.1. With resist debuffers, taunt from the tank, elemental drain, any of that stuff. It goes up a lot higher, like 10 or 11, and then obviously, as I've said, trial buffs as well considered. It goes up a lot higher, and the higher that number is, the higher these will get hit off balance straight away. Thank you very much. And again, see, not in Wall of Elements, rubbish damage. Inside, not so bad. Now, you've heard me say off balance a few times. I know a lot of you are familiar with it from current meta setups. Because apparently you think it's new. It's not new. It was in my last video. It was in my video, 2 videos before that, or 1 video before that, in January, which was way before Homestead. And even then, this actual build has been being used since last April. I think it was April, or maybe the month after. Jack in our guild has been using it for a very long time, since I initially put it together. Since about summertime. Feral also has been using it, and this off balance stuff came in, I think, Thieves Guild or Dark Brotherhood, I don't remember which one. Whenever this champion point was added, the whole thermatage thing, when we got dot damage. I believe it was the Thieves Guild, I could be wrong. So it's been there since then anyway. Long time. So it's not new, it's just that people haven't been using it. So here's some incentive for you to use it. This shit knocks stuff off all the time. Champion points, obviously you want to know what happened to those, because they haven't really changed, but I'll explain them. We've got some more in the resist tree, so we go 75, 75, and 20 in thick skinned. That's a really good all across the board resists to dots and damage. Now, they will change in trials, yes, depending on your target, but that's a good setup for just everyday use, dungeons, maelstrom, all that kind of stuff. These here are deliberate. Extra healing received and points in your shield to make your shield stronger. I always put 30 in this tree for 2 passives that are very important. Reduces the damage you take while resin people, and also gives them Magicka recovery when you pick them up, so they get back in the game quicker. Really nice passives to have. 100 in reduction to cost, 80 in recovery, and 20 in here just to get more magic back when you do your heavy attacks, which, as you know, you're doing heavy attacks constantly, and if you've been watching properly so far, you'll see that I've not really used any Magicka at all, and I'm solo. 39 in Elfborn for extra crit damage, 11 in penetration just to top up the little gaps between debuffs and stuff in Trials and Dungeons, and for yourself of course as well. 75 Elemental Expert, and then nothing in here, this is mostly for melee and stuff, physical, and some PvP points in here, but I don't use this for PvP, although you can. And 75 points in here to make sure you get this passive, which I've been going on about for bloody months. Use this. This is ridiculous with lightning damage, especially if you're a full AoE build, which this is what it's for. So, nothing's really major to change there. The gear setups I will go over with in a second, the extra gear setups. Let's just wreck some more trash. $12 there. Yeah, I'm taking fire damage, but just shield up. You heal up your damage on that. See? Need Wall of Elements down. Off balance straight away. Good night. 14. How about that? You can pause the video if you like and see how much damage the big white numbers did to his friend next to him. Okay. Now, we can travel to Ferald's house and finish up. Okay, we're in Ferald's house here. We have to come here because Ferald made a bit of a surprise for us. And made a big sign for the guild. Ta-da! Look at that. That is awesome. Let's spin around while I'm talking. Brilliant. Okay, the things to remember. Keep your buffs on. Keep your resist buffs on, obviously, because not only is this a buff to you for your resists, Boundless Storm, it is also area of effect lightning damage, which yes can do more damage the more your buffs are applied, so Beast Trap, your Power Surge, also Spell Power and all those kind of things, penetration buffs, everything that you get buffed within a trial will actually make this stronger, so it's a decent close quarter AoE damage. It also makes you very fast, and it can also proc the passive Execute, which I did go over in the last video, but I'll go over it again here. If anyone gets hit by any lightning damage while under 15%, you can do a shit ton of damage, which crits really hard with the right buffs on, especially with the Warhorn and all that kind of stuff. This can proc the Execute, so can this. Where's it gone? I can't do it up here. Let me go down. You can do it with this, and this, ulti as well. Every single lightning ability you do, including the AoE from the lightning staff, every single thing can proc the Execute. So your kill window basically is really, really strong. Testing wise, I know people have questions as far as sets are concerned, what you can and can't use. You can use pretty much anything, but to be honest, this is set up to do one specific thing, and that is to do as much area of effect damage as possible, which it does. Now, there are other alternatives if you don't have access to Twice Born Star, and if you don't have access to Infallible Ether. I've been testing, I think I tested this for around 13 hours the other day, which was really, really long, but you want to test it, so fine, we got it, we tried. I tried Julianus and Ether, which obviously we've got on. Tried those two combined, didn't beat TPS because of the crit damage. I tried TBS, Willpower, also what did I use? Ice Heart for that one to top up the crit. Still didn't do enough damage. I lost too much in one, gained too much in another, didn't work out, the balance was off. Also tried with the Netch's Touch and Julianus, that by the way I'm going to come back to. I also tried with Destruction Mastery and Julianus alongside one Grofdar and one Elambrius, and it turned out that I had over 3k weapon spell damage and 47k Magicka. And although the stats sound really nice, it didn't beat this setup because the crit damage that I have now was too high in comparison. So this still beat it overall DPS. So there are many different variations apart from that I tried, but this one topped out still. So I tried to break it and I couldn't. I even tried using Alambrius and all that kind of stuff, like 2 pieces of it and loads of different variations of that, and for this particular setup again still this one came out on top. But if you don't have access to these pieces specifically, the best setup that I've found that is as close you can get to this is actually 5 pieces Netch's Touch, which comes from Darkshade Caverns, 5 pieces Julianus, which is very easy to get a sharpened weapon for because you can make one, and then the helmet I was using instead of Kenner, I think I was using the Ice Heart to fill in the crit loss, which was, where was it? Was it the shoulder I was using? Oh, it's a helmet. Yeah, I was using this. So 5 Julianus, 5 Netch's Touch, and this was the closest to this setup. Even Elegant didn't touch it, wasn't even close. So these 2 setups, this one or the Netch's Touch. Netch's Touch is very easy to get, just have to get the 3 jewelry and then 2 other pieces. Now, let's have a look. Is there anything I'm missing? Food, we know what food we're using, but I'll just go over it quickly. Slowable items. Max magic, max health. Rubbish pots, you can use these, or if you want you can use stamina, because you'll probably run out of stamina more than you run out of magic, so you can block a bit more. But if not, use one or the other. These 2 pots are fine, you never need to buy expensive pots, ever. Your crit is on your front bar here already, so you don't need spell pots with crit on it to get that. This gives you max magic anyway, so you wouldn't take it off your bar. This gives you major sorcery, so you don't need a potion for that. Also it heals you, so it's better than standard pot. You just have to make sure that you get the skill in quick enough to not waste time on your rotation, so make sure it's always, get off here, dot, dot, switch, heavies, 3 heavies, beast trap swap, dot, dot, 3 heavies. Now in between every 2nd or 3rd rotation you can throw in a resist buff, do switch, spell damage buff, sorry, and then when you go again, this time put down the storm on. You won't waste too much time. If you stand there doing this and then putting stuff down, it takes too much time. Solo it doesn't really matter so much, but trial and dungeon purposes, just make sure that you have them down already before you start. Do your rotation, switch, do 1 more, make this quick. Timber done 3 light attacks, heavies even. Now on this one, ban the storm, then on your next one, crit surge before you finish, and then just keep that in a rotation. Every 2nd rotation put Bound of Storms on, and every 3rd rotation put crit surge on, or power surge, whichever one it's called, I forget, and that will help you. I think that's about it. I've gone over everything. Skills, again, they're in the other video, they explain properly what they're all doing. I did used to have Bound Aegis off the bar in replacement for this on both. But again, we found this was too powerful, so we kept it. Bound of Storm's really, really strong. No more skills. Nothing's really changed. We have Vampire on purpose, mostly for this. Reduce damage at low health, and also recovery. But you won't run out of magic anyway, unless you're solo, and in which case just pay attention to your resources and you should be fine. Also, don't be scared to put on shield. It's what it's for. You're not going to run out of magic from spamming it, because you're heavy attacking too much, and you just get all your magic back anyway when you hit stuff. The recovery is strong enough to keep this up for ages, and then it will just dot, dot, heavy, I'll get it all back. Or pop a potion, doesn't matter. So, hopefully that wasn't too boring. There's not, like I said, there's not really much changed, apart from the fact that our damage is actually higher now, quite a lot higher due to the Homestead patch. Not because of off balance, because that's been in the game for bloody ages, but because of the extra AoE damage and the fact that everything gets minor vulnerability if you're lucky inside the status effects of lightning. So this was strong last patch, it's even stronger now because of the Destro passives. Just make sure that you got a Destro skill in your front bar. Champion points are as they were. Make sure you have all your dots down all the time, get as much off balance blocks as possible, and just make sure you heavy attack inside of your dots. So if the target's over there, make sure he's getting hit with a wall of elements before you consider doing this, because otherwise your damage is going to be shit. make sure that is down at all times, solo or not. Also, we have tried these in multiple numbers, aside from the maelstrom bug that we currently have, and the more of these you have, the better. They're really, really strong. Anyway, like I said, I think that's about it. I do have a couple of shout-outs to do. I've got to remember how to pronounce this name. There we go. Let me get that right. Dollariki? Oh, don't tell me off for pronouncing it wrong. Shout out to that guy for donating 10k to me randomly in Gratwood the other day for watching the videos. Thank you very much for that. Also, MX Panthera, you know who you are also. Thank you very much for your roasting donations. That is going to go towards a new staff. Thank you very much. Everybody else, thank you very much for watching. Leave a comments below and I'll get back to them as soon as possible. I generally answer all of them, but it depends on time. I will be streaming more this week, possibly at the weekend, and I'll get into the swing of doing a few more, a little bit more regular. But we shall see. A new build coming very soon is actually a Magicka, which is going to be quite interesting for some of you if you like playing those, because I know a couple have asked for them. But apart from that, thank you all very much for watching, and see you again very soon. Bye bye.